Welcome back to another episode. And today I wanted to ask you something. Why do you start your business? Why do you say, this is what I want to do? And not the answer that you give people at networking events, not the polished elevator pitch, not the version that it sounds good on your page. I mean the real answer, the one that it lives in your chest, the one that it wakes you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you cannot go back to sleep. The one that it makes you think, even for 1 second, that maybe, just maybe, you were put on this earth to do something that it actually matters. Because I know that the answer is there. I know it's there because you're here. Because women who are purely chasing a paycheck do not search for videos like this one. Women who are purely motivated by profit do not sit down and ask the deeper questions. You are here because something in you knows that your business is supposed to be more than a transaction. It's supposed to be a transformation for your clients, for yourself, for your community, for the world, but most importantly, for you. But here's what I also know, somewhere in the in between, that original spark, that moment of divine ignition, when you said yes to the calling, and where you are at right now, something got complicated. The purpose is still there. You can still feel it, but it's buried underneath the revenue pressure, the algorithm, the anxiety and comparison. It spiral in the 1001 tactical decisions you have to make every single day, every single moment. You just keep the wheels on. And what is started as a mission has started to feel like grind. What started as freedom has started to feel like a cage with a pretty door. And you're sitting there asking, how do I build something that is both purposeful and profitable? How do I stay connected to the calling while also growing a real and sustainable business, the revenue generating in that business? How do I stop choosing between meaning and money? Because someone told you either you can have one or the other. You have to choose. That purpose driven business is either a hobby or a sacrifice. That you cannot have both. Today, I'm going to show you how exactly to build a purpose driven business that does not just feel good, but it actually grows. That it doesn't just create meaning, but it creates revenue. That it doesn't just serve your clients, but positions you as the undeniable leader in your space. So today we're going to talk about that. This is the conversation that I wish somebody had it with me years ago. I searched and searched for somebody who would tell me this. And I am so glad now that I get to have this conversation with you. Before we go any further, if you are new here, welcome. This is the first time you are sitting here with me. This is the space. Welcome to this space. Hit the subscribe button right now because what I do here is not surface level strategy content. This is a real conversation. The intersection of spiritual truth and business reality. The place where purpose and profit are not opposites, they are partners. Subscribe so you don't miss a single video because every week I'm going to bring you something that has the power to change everything. So let's get ready. Let's go deep. I want to start by redefining something because I think the term purpose driven business has been diluted. It has been co opted by the marketing industry and turned into a brand aesthetic. You slap some mission language on your website, you talk about impact in your Instagram captions, and suddenly you have a purpose driven business. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something so much more radical, much more demanding, and definitely more powerful. A truly purpose driven business is the one that is built from the inside out, not from the market research out, not from the trending analysis, not from the competitor, from the inside, from the deepest, most honest, more spiritually alive part of who you are into this world. And the reason why this matters, the reason this is not just a philosophical distinction, but an enormously practical one. This is it. Businesses built from the outside eventually will collapse under the weight of inauthenticity. I have seen this happen over and over again. A woman finds a niche that is profitable. She builds an offer around that market that the market says that they want. She crafts the messaging that it converts. She builds a business that it looks good and successful on paper. And then one day she wakes up and she cannot get out of the bed. She cannot write another caption. She cannot get another call. She cannot pretend for one more second that that is what she was called to do. Because it wasn't. It was that what she was called to do, it was monetized. And there is a catastrophic difference. A business built from the inside out, one that begins with you, authentic calling, your unique womb that it became your wisdom, your specific brand of truth, that business has fuels that it never runs out. Because when you're working with alignment, with purpose, you are not just spending energy, you're generating that energy. The work feeds you instead of draining you. The clients energize you instead of depleting you. The growth feels like expansion instead of exhaustion. That is what we are building today. That is what I want for you. So let's start at the beginning. And in the beginning, it's not just your business model. The beginning is not just a niche. The beginning is not just your offer, your pricing, or your marketing strategy. The beginning is your womb. What is your womb? I know that sounds counterintuitive. I know you might be thinking, what is the womb has to do with my business? What do I need to know what is my womb? How is that going to work with my business? It has to do everything with your business. Here's the truth that I have come to understand through years of deeper inner work, research, walking alongside of hundreds of women in transformation. Your greatest ministry comes from your deepest misery. The thing that it broke you is the thing that it will build others. The season of your life that it felt that the most pain, the most like you're in death's door, is actually the most direct path to your calling. The womb that where you spend years trying to hide is the exact womb that gives you the authority to lead. Think about it. The women who come to me come because I have been exactly where they are. Because I have sat on the stuck place. Because I've been wrestling with the invisible ceiling and their generational blocks. And the nervous system's pattern that keeps brilliant women playing small. I did not read about this on a textbook. I lived it. I heal it. And in that journey, that specific painful transformation journey is the source of everything I teach. What is yours? What is your wound? What is the thing you walk through that when you talk about it, light something up in other people? What is the conversation that when you start having it, you cannot stop? What is the problem that it makes you so angry, so passionately, but angry at the same time? And you feel compelled to be part of the solution. That is your purpose. That is the seed of your business. And I want you to understand something critical about this seed. It's not supposed to be too broad. Purpose is not generic. Purpose is specific. Uncomfortably specific. It is not, I help women succeed. It's not, I help entrepreneurs grow their business. Those are categories, not callings. Your calling has a texture. It has a specific flavor of pain. And that pain, you understand it better than anyone else. It has a specific group of people, those who struggle. You recognize it in your wounds because you have lived it yourself. It has a specific transformation that you are uniquely divine position to guide those people through. Get specific about that. Get radically, almost uncomfortably specific. Because specific is not just limiting, specific is magnetic. When a woman who feels exactly the way you used to feel stumbles onto your content and thinks, for the first time, she's talking directly to me. That is the moment your purpose driven business begins to actually grow. Not because you ran a better app, but because you were specific enough that the right person recognized herself in your message. So let's talk about the framework because I want to give you something it can actually be used, something you can take from this video and start implementing immediately. I call this the four pillars of the purpose driven business that grows. And I want to walk you through each one of these pillars. The first pillar is the rooted identity. Pillar number two is the aligned offer. And pillar number three is the energetic authority. Pillar number four, sustainable momentum. Let's go through each one of them pillars, and we're going to start with pillar number one, rooted identity. This is the foundation, and I cannot stress enough how many businesses are built without it and how much that costs. Rooted identity means you know exactly who you are as a leader, as a coach, as a service provider. Not just what you do, but who you are while you do it. It means your sense of self is not just contagion on your revenue numbers or your follower account or whether your last launch hit the target. It's rooted in something deeper and more permanent than any external metric. And here's why this matters in business. Specifically, when your identity is not rooted, you are constantly shifting to match what you think the market wants from you. You are watching what other competitors are doing and unconsciously mirroring it. You're changing your messaging every quarter. You are diluting your truth to be more popular so you can have a bigger audience. And the result is a brand that it feels confused, a message that it doesn't land. The content is technically good, but energetically is hollow. An offer that it doesn't attract the right clients because the right clients cannot quite figure it out who you're actually standing for. What I have found both in my own healing and in my own journey in this work that I do with women entrepreneurs is that when you build a clear vision of your future self and begin to live from that identity in the present moment before the external reality catches up, your entire business shifts. It's not just a spiritual concept. This is a neurological one. Your brain is a prediction machine. It moves towards wherever identity has been given. Its destination. Give it the wrong destination or no destination at all, and it will wander. Give her a clear and a specifically felt identity to grow into, and it will begin to reorganize your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, and your energy around that target. So here's a question that I want you to sit with it. If you strip away all the titles and all the achievement and all the strategies, who are you? What do you believe about the people you serve? What do you stand for that you will never compromise no matter what the market says? What do you stand against with such a conviction that you will say, even if it costs me followers, I will stay? Your answers to those questions are your brand foundation. They are the roots from which everything else will grow. And when those roots go deep enough, when your identity is solid enough, your business can weather any storm. Algorithm changes, market shifting, slow months, online drama, competition. None of it can shake a business that is built in truly rooted identity. In the comments below, I want you to type the words I'm ready. Two words. Because the moment you declare your intention in writing it out loud in the presence of this community, something will shift. Not metaphorically, but neurologically. The act of declaration begins the process of encoding a new pattern in your brain. You're not just typing words, you're making a promise with the next level version of yourself. Type it, do it now. Let's keep going. Pillar number two. Now we're at number two, align offer. This is where purpose meets profit. And this is where many purpose driven business owners get it wrong. And let me explain to you why. Here is what typically happens. You are deeply connected to your purpose, you know your womb, you know your calling, and then someone, a business coach, an online course, a mentor, it tells you to package it into a group program at this price point with this delivery method because that is what is working right now in the market. And you do it. And sometimes it works, but often it doesn't work. Not because your offer is bad, but because your offer is misaligned with how you are actually meant to deliver your gift. An aligned offer is the one that it builds around three things simultaneously: your purpose, your client, your transformation, and your energetic capacity. Let me break that down for you. Your purpose. The offer has to be an authentic expression of your calling. It has to feel like something you will do even if no one is paying you, because the work itself is that meaningful to you. Your client's transformation. The offer has to deliver a specific, tangible, identifiable result, not just feeling a transformation, a before and after, a measurable shift, and how your client experiences her life, her business, her relationships, her sense of self. And this is the one that it gets left out, your energetic capacity. The offer has to be deliverable in a way that it doesn't drain you, in a way that it allows you to show up in full power every single day to every single client, every single session, every single touch point. Because the drained coach cannot create a thriving client, period. I see so many women in this space who are over delivering to the point of burnout, who have built offers that are fundamentally incompatible with their energy system, who are on back to back calls 6 days a week, spending their evenings in Slack groups, their weekends preparing, catching up with emails, and wondering why this feels like walls are closing down on me. That is not purpose driven business. That is a gilded cage. One of the most powerful things you can do to stabilize your inner world as an entrepreneur is to make sure your business model is designed for your energy, not against it. What I have learned through my own work and through holding a space for my clients is this: you need to get deeply honest about how you are meant to deliver your gift. Some coaches are meant to work in an intimate one on one containers. Some are meant to lead large groups experience. Some are meant to teach through content and have their coaching container to be small and highly curated. Some are meant to be a hybrid of all the above. There is no universal right answer, that it is the right answer for you. And you already know what it is. You already know it because when you imagine delivering your work in the way that it truly aligns for you, there is an excitement in your body, a readiness, and you feel alive. And when you imagine delivering that gift in the way that is misaligned, even in the way that is more profitable on paper, it feels like heaviness, like you don't even want to do it, but it's unmistakably a contraction. Your body knows, so learn to listen to it. Pillar number three: energetic authority. This is the pillar that separates purpose driven business, that they stay small from the ones that they break through and grow. And is the one that nobody in the business coaching world talks about directly through it. Energetic authority is not the same as expertise. Expertise is what you know, authority is what you embody. You can know everything that it is to know about your topic and still don't have authority, because authority is not transmitted through information, it is transmitted through energy, through presence, through unmistakably frequency of someone who has done the work internally deeply and come out on the other side transformed. Think about the teachers and the leaders who have impacted you the most in your life. What is it? Because they have the most credentials? What is it? They had the longest client list or the biggest following? Or it was because when you were in their presence, even through a screen, you felt something shift. Something in you recognized something in them. Some part of you said, this person knows something real. This person has been somewhere real. I want to go where they have gone. That's the energetic authority. And it cannot be manufactured. It can only be cultivated through inner work that we have been discussing through this entire video. Here is what energetic authority looks like in practice. It is the coach who does not apologize for her prices because she has done the inner work to know her worth at a cellular level. This is the mentor who doesn't shrink when a potential client pushes back because her identity is not contingent on that person saying yes. It is the teacher who can hold space for her client deepest pain without being activated by it because she has already processed that pain herself. It's the woman who shows up on camera and does not perform confidence. She radiates it. Because confidence is not something you manufacture for the camera. It's the byproduct of knowing who you really are, having done the work, and trusting that what you carry is exactly what someone else needs. Here's what I know from years of doing this work. Studying the intersection of neuroscience and spiritual healing and watching women transform their business, transforming their life by transforming themselves first. The level of wealth and impact you can create is directly proportional to the level of healing you have done, not the level of strategy that you have implemented, the level of healing, the inner work, the degree to which you have faced your own shadows and brought them into the light. This is not incidental to your business growth. This is your business growth strategy. Many people don't believe that, but I have lived that experience myself. Because when you walk into a sales conversation with an energetic authority, the close is almost inedible. Not because you use the right script, but because your energy communicates certainty. And certainty is contagious. When you hit publish on a piece of content from a place of energetic authority, it lands differently. It moves people. It gets shared. It reaches the women that it meant to reach. Not because the algorithm favored you that day, but because your truth has frequency. And that frequency travels everywhere. Your business will grow at the speed of your internal authority. So here's the question: what would you need to heal, to release, to claim internally, to show up in your business with that level of unshakable authority? Whatever it came up for you just now, that is your next level of work. If something in this video has touched your wound that you did not know you had or it was there, if something has shifted in your body while we've been going through this together, I want you to give this video a like right now. Not for me, for the woman who needs to hear this message and has not found it yet. Every like sends this video to another woman sitting exactly where you were before you press play today. Hit the like button. Be the reason she finds her breakthrough. And let's go to pillar number 4: sustainable momentum. This is the pillar that most people try to build first, and that is why most business stay stuck. We live in a culture that is obsessed with momentum, with the scaling, with going viral. In the online business world, we will sell the tactics that promise to create that momentum overnight. The content strategies, the hashtags, the formulas, the funnel, the launch playbooks. And I want to be clear on this. I'm not saying those things don't matter. They do. Strategy matters. Consistency matters. Showing up matters. But sustainable momentum, the kind of growth that compounds, that builds on himself, that creates the business that thrives, not just one season, but that across every season. That kind of momentum can only build on top of the first three pillars that we already talked about. You cannot sustain momentum from a place of identity confusion because the moment the strategy stops working, you will not know who you are without it. You cannot sustain momentum with a misaligned offer because even if you get great at launching, you will be burned out delivering that gift. You cannot sustain momentum without energetic authority because you will spend all your energy trying to convince people instead of simply attracting them. But when all three of these pillars are in place, when your identity is rooted, your offer is aligned, and your authority is embodied, momentum becomes almost effortless. Not because the work goes away, but because the work is now working with your energy instead of against it. So, what does building sustainable momentum actually looks like? Let's talk about that. How does it look like? It looks like showing up consistently, not perfect, but consistent. Consistency is not posting every day because the algorithm demands that. Consistency is showing up in your truth every day enough for your audience to begin to trust that you will always be there, that you will always bring something real, that you will never compromise your message for a trending. It looks like building relationships instead of transactions. The women who are thriving in this space are not the ones with the biggest spend. They're the ones with the deepest community. They are the ones whose clients became their loudest advocates because the transformation they received was so real and so profound that they cannot help but tell every woman they know. It looks like investing in your own growth is aggressively as you invested in your business growth. And it looks like playing a long game. The most powerful, most lasting, most meaningful business are built across years, not months. They are built through the accumulation of thousands of small moments of truth, consistency, and service. They are built by women who decide that at some point that they were in this not just for the season when it feels exciting, but for a long run, for the calling, for the mission. That decision changes everything. The moment your business shifts from something to do to something that you are called to be, you become a steward rather than a project you manage. The whole energy it will change, and the energetic shifts is felt by everyone around you. Now, I want to go even deeper on something that I believe is the real heart of this conversation. Underneath about all four pillars, holding all them up, is something that most businesses conversations never touch. And that is the question of what do you actually believe about what you deserve? Because here's the paradox. What I see playing out in the life of purpose driven women entrepreneurs every single day is that they believe deeply in their clients, their worthiness. They will fight for their clients. They will speak truth into their client's life. They will not hold back. They will hold their clients' potential with absolute conviction and refuse to let them shrink. And they will completely, systematically, relentlessly deny the same worthiness to themselves. They believe their clients deserve to be fully compensated for their gifts, but they undercharge for their own. They believe their clients deserve to be seen and celebrated, valued, but they hide their own lives to avoid perceiving as arrogant. They believe their clients deserve rest and boundaries and sustainable business models, but they run themselves into the ground and call it dedication. This is the most insidious forms of self abandonment. And it's so common in the helping professions, in the coaching, in healing, and mentorship that we have almost normalized it. We have dressed it up in the language of service and sacrifice in humility. And underneath that language is a wound, a deep old generational wound that it says you are allowed to help others, but not to receive abundance. You are not allowed to receive it yourself. I need you to hear me on this. That is not humility. That is trauma response wearing a spiritual costume. True service is not self erasure, it is self mastery, it's the full embodiment of your gift, your worth, your capacity, your power. And then the offering of that fully realized self in service to others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, but I want you to say it differently today. You cannot lead people into abundance when you're not willing to start dressing yourself into that abundance. And if you want to guide your clients into financial freedom, you must be willing to receive financial freedom. If you want to guide your clients into confidence, then you must look at your confidence yourself. You be willing to claim your own. If you want to guide them into life purpose and meaningful joy, you must be willing to live it unapologetically in the full view. Because your clients do not just buy your strategy, they buy your embodiment. They buy the living proof that you are offering is real, that that transformation is possible, that the next level, it actually exists. Your willingness to receive it, to fully receive that abundance, that recognition, the revenue, the impact that your calling is generating, the willingness that is not selfish is the most powerful service that you can offer to others. Now, I want you to get very specific about the science of why purpose driven business either grow or stay small. Because I don't teach just from intuition. I teach from years of studying what it actually happens in the human brain and the body when real transformation occurs and what blocks the transformation. Here is what the neuroscience tells us. Your brain is running a program, a deeply encoded, highly efficient, largely unconscious program that has been written long before you start your business. It was written in childhood, it was written in moments of rejection and disappointment, fear, and it was written through the words of people who told you that you were too much or that you were not enough or their money doesn't grow on trees, or that a successful woman are selfish, or that you need to work on yourself, or you need to sacrifice, or that you don't deserve it. Your subconscious mind is running approximately 95% of your behavior. That means only 5% of what you do every single day is actually conscious and intentional. The other 95% autopilot running on the program that it was installed before you even have the ability to understand or to question. And here's what it looks like in your business. The program that it says is not safe to be visible. It shows up as rewriting that caption 17 times before posting it. The program that it says, I don't deserve to charge that much, it shows up as you consistently underpricing your offer. Even when you know your worth intellectually, that program says successful people are greedy. It shows up underneath all the layers, but it's powerful. It's self sabotage. Every time you get close to a real financial breakthrough, it shows up. This is not a character flaw. This is not a discipline problem. This is neuroscience. And here's the part that most people never hear. Your body becomes chemically addicted to that emotional state. If you have spent years in a state of stress, anxiety, scarcity, and struggle, your body literally becomes dependent on those emotional states. The stress response, the adrenaline, the cortisol, they become familiar, they become comfortable, they become home. And so a part of you, the part that it is running the 95%, is actually addicted to be stuck. Not because you want to be stuck, not because you are self-sabotaging on purpose, but because at cellular level, struggle feels familiar and familiar feels safe. This is why you can visualize your dream, your perfect life, clarity, and still not take actions that it will create it. This is why you can have a breakthrough in coaching calls, feel incredible for 3 days, and then watch yourself slide right back into the old pattern. Is biology. And the way you override that biology is not through more willpower. It's not through forcing yourself to push even harder. The way you override it is through a practice of deliberately generating new emotional states in your body, feeling the emotions of your desired reality before this external evidence shows up. Until your body becomes familiar with the abundance instead of being used to with the lack, you start retraining your body, you will start to see the changes. And this is the work, not the strategy, the work. Now, let's go to the layer that is perhaps the most profound and most personal: generational trauma in your business. Yes, this is what I have found to be the deepest root system underneath almost every entrepreneur blocks. And it's the conversation that most coaches are too afraid to have because it requires you to look not just at your own life, but at the lives of the women who came before you. Science, specifically the field of epigenetics, has now confirmed what spiritual wisdom has always known. Trauma is given by our ancestors. The emotional experience of your parents, your grandparents, the women in your lineage who carry wounds they never heal, those experiences leave a biological imprint. And that imprint is passed down to you, to me, to everyone in your DNA, in your nervous system, in the habitual emotional patterns you have been trying to mindset hack your way out for years. Think about the women in your family who came before you. What was the relationship with money, with power, with visibility, with speaking truth, with taking up their own space? For most of the women I work with, the answer is painful. The women who came before them were not allowed to hold power. They were not allowed to accumulate wealth independently, were shamed for speaking too loudly. They were punished for wanting too much. They were told explicitly and implicitly that their worth was tied to how much they gave they serve, and they sacrifice. Not how much they earn, led, or succeeded. Those experiences are in your DNA. They're showing up in your business right now. When you struggle to charge premium prices, there is a part of you that is carrying a generational belief. The women who want too much are selfish. When you shrink on camera, there is a part of you carrying a generational wound or trauma of women who were punished for being too visible. When you feel guilty for wanting financial freedom, there's a part of you that it has inherited the womb of a woman who were never allowed to be financially free. You are not just building a business, you're breaking a generational pattern. And that is a holy work, not just for you, but for your daughters and their daughters and every woman in your lineage who comes after you. The healing is the legacy. So let me give you the practical application because I know some of you are feeling tremendous amount right now and you're wondering, what do I do? What I actually need to do with all of this? Here's where we start. Awareness first. You cannot heal what you cannot see. Get radically honest about the beliefs you are carrying, not just about business, but about yourself, about your worthiness, about what you deserve, about what is possible for someone with your background, your history, your wounds. Ask yourself these questions and write down the answers without judgment. What did I learn about money growing up? What did I learn about successful women? What did I learn about what happened to a woman who are visible, too powerful, or too vocal? Let the answers be ugly. Let them be irrational. Let them be painful. Because the moment you can see the program, you have already begun to free yourself from it. Second, grief. This is the step that most people want to skip. And this is the step that it changes everything. You have to grieve the version of yourself that built her entire identity around these limiting beliefs. You have to grieve this little girl who made the decision to stay small in order to stay safe. You have to honor her because she was doing the best she could with what she had, and then you have to lovingly, compassionately let her go. She kept you safe. Then she's keeping you stuck now if you don't release her. Number three, rewriting. This is where you actively begin to build a new identity, not through toxic positivity, not through forcing yourself to believe things that you don't feel true yet, but through evidence, gathering through deliberately collecting proof that the news story is real. Every time you show up on camera, the world doesn't end. That's the evidence. Every time you state your price and someone says yes, that is evidence. Every time you share your truth with someone and that someone responds with, this is exactly what I needed, that's evidence. You're building a new neural architecture, a new sense of self, piece by piece, moment by moment. Four, community. You cannot heal an insulation. What was wounded in relationship, you need a container where you're held, witness it, and guided by someone who already walked this path. Because you cannot see your own blind spots. You can be fully objective about your own wounds. You need someone who can see you clearly, more clearly than you can see yourself, and call you for into who you are becoming. This is not weakness, this is wisdom. Now, let me speak to the woman who's watching this and wondering, okay, but what about the practical stuff, the content, the lead generation, the sales? When do we get to do that? We get to it now. And here's how we do it. It looks different when it's built on top of everything we have been discussing. Your content, when it comes from a place of rooted identity and energetic authority, is not a content strategy, it's a ministry. It's not about posting consistently to feed an algorithm, it's about consistently showing up with your truth and trusting that the woman who needs it will find it. When your content carries that frequency, when it's authentic expression of your purpose rather than a calculated attempt to gain a platform, it travels, it gets shared, it gets to reach people you cannot reach on your own. Your lead generation, when it comes from aligned energy, it stops being a hustle and it starts being a flow because your message it speaks directly to the women who are ready for your specific transformation. And those women come to you already pre-qualified, already resonant with your work, already open to your offer because they recognize themselves in your message. Your sales process, when you carry energetic authority, becomes sacred conversation rather than performance. You stop trying to convince people to buy and start enrolling them into the possibility that they can already feel. The close is not the moment you overcome objection, it's the moment of a woman recognizing that she has been ready for this and that this conversation was always going to end with her saying yes. This is what a purpose driven business actually looks like in practice. Not hustle and tactics, scripts, and objection handling frameworks. It deeply aligned, deeply rooted, deeply energized. That expression of who you are and what you are here to do translate into offers, content, conversations that attract and transform the exact women you are meant to serve. Now, let me give you your daily practice. Something you can start tomorrow morning. Something that if you do it consistently for 30 days, it will begin to shift your internal landscape in a way that it will directly impact your business result. Every morning, before you open your phone, before you check your email, you look at your analytics, your DMs, or your bank balance, spend 10 minutes in intentional identity work. Here's the structure: 2 minutes of stillness, no agenda, just letting your nervous system settle. You cannot access your higher self from this state of activation. Regulate first. One question. Ask yourself from your body, not your mind, who am I today? Now, who do I need to perform for my audience? Who am I? Let the answer arise from the deepest, honest, and more spiritual alive part of you. One intention set from that identity, not a to do list, an intention. Today, I lead with certainty. Today, I receive with grace. Today, I show up as the woman who already has everything she's asking for. One sentence rooted in identity, setting the energetic tone before the day begins. 3 minutes of a specific gratitude, not generic gratitude, it's specific gratitude for the evidence of growth you can already see. The client who sent you a message saying you have changed her life, the piece of content that it already reached the woman on your city that you have never been to, the payment that has arrived in a month when you needed it. Collect that evidence. Wire your brain to see it, because what you focus on, it will expand. And this is not just a spiritual wisdom, it's neuroscience. Movement, 5 minutes of walking, dancing, breath work, stretching, activate your body before you go to work. Your psychological state is your greatest business tool, and it is free. 10 minutes every morning before anything else. I promise you, if you do this practice for 30 days, your business will look different. Not because you found a new strategy, but because you will show up as a different woman. And a different woman creates different results. I want to close this conversation with something that I carry with me every single day. There is a version of you that already exists somewhere in the territory of your highest possibility. She's already living the life and leading the business you are calling it in right now. She has done the work. She has healed the wound. She has rooted her identity and aligned her offer and embodied her authority and built the momentum. And she is serving powerfully, joyfully, profitable, and sustainable. She is not a fantasy. She is your future self. She is the woman you are in the process of becoming. She is the reason you started this business. She is the reason you are here today. And every decision you make from this moment forward is either moving you towards her or moving you away from her. Every time you do the inner work, you are moving closer to her. Every time you show up in your truth, you are moving closer to that woman. Every time you charge what you are worth, hold your boundary, choose rest over grind, you are moving closer and closer to her. And every time you choose the familiar, the smallness over the unfamiliar expansion, every time you let the fear win, let the old program run that body, that womb make the decision, you are moving away from her. You are always have a choice. In every moment, always, always you have a choice. And today, right now, in this moment, you have a choice too. There are two types of women watching this video right now. The first woman is the one who's going deeply inspired. She's going to close the laptop, go back to the same patterns, and wake up tomorrow in the exact place she is today. She's going to wait until she feels more ready, until the timing is better, until she has more certainty. In 6 months from now, she will still be waiting. The second woman is the one who feels deeply inspired and makes a decision right now, today. Not because all the fear is gone, but the fear might still be there, but she's going to move anyways. Because she knows she is more committed to herself, to her calling, than she is to her comfort zone. If you are the second woman, and I believe you are because I know why you were guided to this video today, here is your next step. Go to www.therealnextlevel.com right now. Apply for a coaching session with me. This is not a sales call. This is not a pitch. This is a strategy. Deep, honest, one-on-one conversation where we will look exactly where you are, exactly what are you trying to do, where you're trying to go, and exactly what is standing in between those 2 points, where we identify the specific root, the specific belief, the specific nervous system pattern, the specific generational womb that is keeping you from your purpose driven business, from the growth that is ready for you. I only work with a small number of women at a time because this work is deep and personal. And I refuse to do it at a scale if doing it at a scale means doing it with the lower quality. The women in my world deserve full presence and full power. If the application is still open, there is a space. And I believe it is open for you today and this moment because you were meant to be here. That is not marketing language, that is a spiritual truth. Go to www.therealnextlevel.com. The link is in the description below. Fill out the application and it will take 2 minutes. Do it now before the inspire moment passes. Before the old program starts talking to you, that you should not do it because your pattern might want to stop you. And if you're honest with yourself, you already feel that you need to move and stop waiting because waiting has kept you exactly where you are now. Be the second woman. Do it now. Don't wait another time. To every woman who has been with me through this entire conversation, thank you. Generally, thank you from the deepest place in my heart. Thank you for seeing and thank you for giving you the opportunity to see beyond what is called normal. You gave me your time, your attention, your willingness to go into the uncomfortable places. And that tells me everything I need to know about who you are. You are not the woman who stays on the surface. You are the woman who is willing to go deep, to do the real work, to choose the truth over comfort, even when the truth is hard. That woman, the one you already are, the one who builds the purpose driven business that actually grows, not the woman who has the perfect strategy, the woman who has done the inner work, not the woman who has the biggest following, but the woman with the deepest roots. Not the woman who's the loudest in the room, but the woman who carries the most truth. You are her. You are already her. The business is just waiting for you to fully show up is her. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Every week, I'm going to bring more of this the real, the deep, the most uncomfortable transformation conversations about what it actually takes to build a business that is both purposeful and profitable, both meaningful and money making, both are calling and a career. Like this video and share it with one woman in your life who needs to hear this today. Not the woman who has everything figured it out. The woman who's still wrestling, the one who's still pushing that boulder up the hill and wondering if she should quit. She needs to know that she is not broken. She just beginning. And for those of you who are ready, who feel in your bones, you know that today is the day. The trajectory changes. I will see you at www.therealnextlevel.com. Let's build the next level together from the inside out. The purpose was always the strategy. You just need someone to remind you. So go and be the woman you are called to be. And I will see you on the next video.